Well, greetings everyone and everybody who is watching this video. Well, tonight I have chosen to review Pearl Harbor by Randall Wallace, the author of Braveheart and, of course, a few other works here. Now, I purchased this book from Savers by the end of January 2019. Of course, it's been almost a week since I finished this book. How is because I've been reading this book like on breaks. That's right, breaks, waiting for buses, riding buses, and not to mention other times. Now, this book is not as accurate as the movie. And of course, the part where Evelyn had passed out and Rafe caught her, I did not see that in the movie. And where one of the Japanese crew members of the airplanes, when they were attacking Pearl Harbor, waved his arm from the Zeros, as Randall Wallace wrote. I did not see that. And one of the people who had waved, as you might have seen in the movie Pearl Harbor, that was actually from a Nakajima B5N Kate. And of course, I could tell the markings of that Kate were from the Akagi. How I know it's from the Akagi, a red stripe, and of course AI dash, and three numbers. And of course the Akagi is mentioned quite a lot in this book. And now, of course, when I read about the Doolittle raid in this book on Tokyo, when of course, the Americans had retaliated for the attack on Pearl Harbor on 7 December 1941. There are actually some accounts true, and I'm not sure how true the other accounts are. Like, I did read about James Doolittle and, of course, Richard Cole, which would be, of course, Lieutenant Colonel James Harold Doolittle, and, of course, Lieutenant Richard E. Cole, crashing somewhere. Now, I'm not sure exactly how true the account is just yet. Or, I should say, real or true. That is. So, well, of course, I read that Rafe's bomber had crashed into a sandbar somewhere. But according to the movie, they crashed in a rice paddy, along with Danny Walker. Now, of course, Danny Walker and Rafe McCauley, they've been very good friends in the movie. And I did not see the items that Randall Wallace wrote in here. And Randall Wallace, if you're watching this, I am sorry. I have to say this because in the movie Pearl Harbor, I did not see neither McCauley nor Walker, of course, or in school cheating with each other, unlike they did during the physical exam. And not to mention that I've seen, of course, Danny and Walker playing with the airplanes when they weren't supposed to. At that time, they had to come forward towards Major James Harold Doolittle. And eventually, the Doolittle would be promoted to general. Yeah, there's Lieutenant Colonel James Harold Doolittle. That is. And now I'll say, in this novel, it's good, I mean, I've seen this movie many times. And of course, memories, they'll lapse. They'll elapse. Things like that. And of course, I read in this book, like towards the end, that the other Doolittle crews, or the raiders that were of course interred in the Soviet Union towards the end of the Second World War, and I believe that because I've read multiple sources of media, seen multiple documentaries, and of course believed stories from the people who had documented the items to go in the documentary. Now, of course, with the Pearl Harbor movie here, there are some fictional twists, as you see with many other movies, about something that is based off a true story. Like Danny and Rafe, of course, was playing with that red biplane. I mean, that could be possible, or that could have been possible back then, but, of course, we're not sure how real or true that is just yet. Because at that time, there was no YouTube. No one recorded what was going on. And let's see, what do we got here? I've read some poems in this book here. And the last one here was written on Danny Walker's headstone, or whatever that was. And the last poem reads, I soared above the songbirds and never heard them sing. I lived my life in winter, and then you brought the spring. Sounds almost like a rhyme. Yes. Well, safe to say this, I think. This was once for almost $4 at Walmart, but this faded away due to the fact that I rough-handled the book, due to the fact that it's been in my pocket. And of course, yes, now a major motion picture. It says on the back. And Wheelhouse Books. Pearl Harbor. And this little tear on the back, even more proof that it's been in my pocket. And to the people who sold me this book, don't worry, I paid for it way before I put it in my pocket. I'm sure you've seen me pay for it, which I know for a fact I did. It's from Savers. Overall, I'll say that Pearl Harbor, the novel and the movie, they're both pretty good. And supposedly people say that the book is better. Of course, I could agree more or less, because of some of the twists that were put in this book, which I did not see in the movie. I found it pretty funny that Danny Walker helped Rafe McCauley cheat in school. And of course, I read that he not only did it during the physical exam, in this case, you might have heard one of the nurses tell a story to the other nurses while she was on the train. It's pretty funny. My favorite part of the nurse's story is, of course, where Rafe fell and hurt his nose. I think that is mentioned in this novel. Well, that's all I have for now. I'm about to reach my 10-minute time limit, and if there's anything I could do better, let me know in the comment box and I will remake the video to the best of my ability. See you around.